All right, welcome back, y'all. So this is going to be the second part of our notes that we took on August 10th. And these are going to be talking about two-step equations now. The last one we did was one-step equations. So let's do this. To solve a two-step equation, first, undo the addition or subtraction. And second, undo the multiplication or division. Now, these steps are very important. They are going in order for a reason. So really quick, just wanted to remind us all of that order of operations. If we remember PEMDAS, that was subtraction, addition, division, multiplication. Oops, that's not the sign for that. Multiplication, exponents, and parentheses. So we are going to be going backwards through our order of operations to solve these equations. So we're still going to be making zeros and ones and canceling things out. But we have to go in a specific order when we do that, or else we'll end up getting the wrong answer or something very, very complicated that we don't need to deal with. So, addition or subtraction first, then multiply or divide. So let's take a look at this. Number 9. We have 6x plus 8 equals 50. So just like we said in the directions here, we're going to do addition or subtraction first. So we're taking a look at this, and I see that the 8 is the number that's being added. So to get rid of it, we are going to subtract 8 from both sides. And remember, by sides, I mean there's that line right there where the equal sign is. So let's follow through with that. Our 6x did not get touched at all, so that stays. 8 minus 8 is going to be 0. But remember, we don't need to write in a 0. So we're just going to cross that out and show that we got rid of it. We have our equal sign. And then we have 50 minus 8. Okay, 50 minus 8 is going to give us 42. Alrighty, so that was our first step. Now we need our second step. That's going to be multiplication or division. So we're taking a look. I see we have 6x. Remember, if we have a number and a variable, that means that they're being multiplied. So opposite of multiplication will be division. So we're going to multiply by 6 on both sides. We're going to end up with a 1x over here. But remember, you do not need to write in that 1. It's just unnecessary. So let's cross out those 6's so that we know we got rid of those. We have our x equals 42 divided by 6. That's going to be 7. Then we get our answer, x equals 7. So it's going to be the same process where we're doing the opposite to get x alone, or our variable alone. Only this time we're going to have to do it 2 times. First with addition and subtraction, and then multiplying and dividing. So let's do another one of these. We have 2n minus 5 equals 11. All right, we're going to follow the same steps. So we're going to start with addition and subtraction first. So let's see, I'm looking at this. Let's draw our line. And I see that we have 2n minus 5. That minus 5 is going to be the first thing to go because we're subtracting. So to get rid of that, we're going to add 5 to both sides. So that's going to leave us with a 2n because nothing touched that. We have negative 5 plus 5. Well, that's going to be 0 but we don't need to write that in, so we'll just cross that out. Equals 11 plus 5. That's going to be 16. Alrighty, next step. We're going to multiply or divide. So let's take a look. We have 2n. Okay, so that's like the last one, where we have 2 multiplied by n. Opposite of multiplication will be division. So let's divide by 2 on both sides. These 2's will leave us with n equals 16 divided by 2. That's going to be 8. So then our answer will be n equals 8. Alrighty. So that is one type that we'll see fairly often, where you have to add or subtract and then divide. This is a very common version of two-step equations. So let's take a look at some less common versions. Let's go down to number 13 here. Okay, this looks a little funky, but that's okay. So we have x divided by 2. Remember that fraction sign can mean divided. Minus 7 equals 9. All right, so once again, we're going to add or subtract first. So let's split this up. The same side as our x, I see minus 7. This is the first number that needs to go because we're adding or subtracting. So I have a minus 7, so we're going to add 7 to both sides. That's going to leave us with x over 2. Negative 7 plus 7 is going to be 0. We don't need to write that, so we'll just cross them out. Equals 9 plus 7. That is going to be 16. All right. Now, we have x divided by 2. We'll put that sign in there just so that we can clearly see that. X divided by 2. Okay, I know that the opposite of division is going to be multiplication. So we're going to multiply by 2 on both sides. Alrighty, so these 2's will cancel out to give me a 1. So then we're left with x equals 16 times 2. Oopsies. 16 times 2, that's going to be 32. So that's going to be another type of two-step equation. Only this time, instead of dividing, we multiplied. All right, let's take a look at another version, like number 15. All right, so 15 involves a concept that we went over in the last video in our one-step equations, and we'll get to that. So let's see. First things first. Let's draw that line, separate our sides. Okay, so we have 3 over 5x plus 22 equals 28. All right, so 22 is being added. So remember, you add or subtract first. So we're going to do that. Minus 22, minus 22. That's going to leave us with 3 over 5x. These two will give me a 0, so we'll just cross that out. Equals 28 minus 22. So that is going to be 6. All right. So, like I said, this is something that we went over in that last video. So if you're not sure, I would go back and rewatch that. But to get rid of a fraction, we have to multiply by the reciprocal. And that's the flipped version of our fraction. So I'm going to multiply by 5 over 3. But remember, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So I'm also going to multiply by 5 over 3 over here as well. Alrighty, so these 3's will cancel out to give me 1. These 5's will cancel out to give me 1. So that's going to leave me with a 1x. We don't need to write that 1 though. So I just got x equals 6 times 5 over 3. Okay, just like last time. Any whole number has a denominator of 1. So we're going to multiply straight across here. So we got 6 times 5. That's going to be 30. And then we have 1 times 3. That's going to be 3. Then we have to simplify. So we have 30 divided by 3. That's going to be 10. So x will equal 10. All right. So that is one that looks like that. But these 3 types are going to be the main ones that we see. One's up here where we had the add or subtract and then divide. Ones where we have add, subtract, and then multiply. Or ones where we have a fraction involved. Alrighty, so I wanted to take a look at one last type here. And that's going to be in the section that says watch out. Because you really do have to watch out for these. So, the examples below are different in that the multiplication / division is done first, followed by the addition / subtraction. So, taking a look at number 19 here, this looks different. We have x plus 11 on top, and it's being divided by another number. So, in this case, we can't just jump in and start adding or subtracting. We have to take care of this division symbol or fraction bar first. So, we know that the opposite of dividing is going to be multiplying. So to get rid of that 8 and this fraction bar, we're going to multiply by 8 on both sides. So this does not mean that you're going to multiply times each thing up here. You don't need to do that. Don't do that. All you're going to do is cancel out or make your 2 8s into a 1. That's all. That's the only thing you need to do. You're only trying to get rid of that 8. So when you do that, that will leave you with x plus 11 equals -3 times 8. That's going to be -24. All right. So now we're going to add or subtract. We have x plus 11. So the opposite of adding is going to be subtracting. So we're going to minus 11 from both sides. That's going to leave us with x because our 11s will turn to 0. And then -24 minus 11. So whenever you have 2 negatives or you have a negative being subtracted from, that means you're going to have to add those 2 numbers together and keep the negative sign. So we're going to end up with -35. Okay, I want to do one more of these just so we could really see that and have more than one example. So let's take a look at this next one. We have n minus 5 over -2 equals -7. So once again, we have to take care of this fraction bar first. So that fraction means that we're dividing by -2. So to get rid of that -2, I'm going to multiply by -2 on both sides. Now all that's going to do is cancel these 2 out to leave us with a 1. And what's left over on top, so that's going to be n minus 5 equals -7 times -2. A negative times a negative will be a positive number, so that'll be 14. All right, now we have n minus 5. So minus 5, I want to do the opposite. So we're going to add 5. That will leave us with n, because these will turn to 0, equals 14 plus 5, that's 19. And that's our answer for that one. So don't be tripped up by these. They just look a little different, and it's okay. We're just going to multiply first. All you have to do is multiply to cancel that number out. But that is just about the gist of our notes here. We didn't do very many in class either, but this was mainly just a review. So you got a little taste, a little hint, trying to remember what this was like back in middle school. Alrighty. So that is going to cover it for the August 10th notes. Yeah. Bye.